I think with a channel like this, I would like to call myself a theme park enthusiast. Despite that, I've had a few cock-ups in theme parks. And in this video, I'm going to share my top 5. Number 1, definitely will have you questioning whether I am a theme park enthusiast or just a muppet. Okay, so a few of these stories are going to come from a trip before the channel started. I took my kids to America, did a week in Disney, a week in Universal, and yeah, I made a few rookie mistakes. So the first one was we went to Animal Kingdom, and I quite like to do stupid poses, silly photos and stuff for the ride photo. So on Expedition Everest, I said to my daughter, I was like, hey, pretend that you're strangling me. You know, a bit like Homer and Bart. Yeah, so I get off the ride and I see the photo for my children in the row in front of me. Scan it, job done. Cannot see the photo for me and my daughter at all, it's just not there. Spoke to a member of staff, they said, oh, it's fine, it'll come back automatically, you know, they try and detect it's you and they'll just add it to your account. Okay, fair enough. So I left it and I went about my day, and I guess at the end of the day, still no sign of this photo. So I goes back to Expedition Everest, and I says to myself, look, I've still not got this photo. And they're like, oh, you need to go to guest services. So I go all the way over to guest services, and I said, listen, I've got this photo from Expedition Everest and my kids, but I didn't get the one of us. We're in the row behind. Look, you can see us in the photo. And at the back of the photo for my front children was my daughter trying to strangle me. I didn't realise that even in 2022, Disney used some form of machine learning and they automatically block any photo that is deemed to be violent. So yeah, you can't pretend to strangle each other on a Disney ride. All right, so the number 4 spot goes to, again, I'm gonna stick with Disney, same trip, in fact. Now 2022 was back when you needed to have park passes, as in you needed to pre-book the day that you were gonna be in the parks. Now I had a 2-week ticket, and as I say, the plan was week in Disney, week in Universal. So the second week, I booked days, not because I needed them, just because I was like, well, if I decide I want to go back to a park, I can't just turn up, right? Thankfully now, that's back to normal. You can rock up to a Disney park at will. But in 2022, you couldn't. You had to plan it, you had to book it. So I'd booked all these spare days. And on one particular day, we had Epcot booked. I woke up in the morning, no intentions of going to Epcot because I was in Universal at this point. And my kids were like, Dad, really want to go back to Epcot and do Guardians of the Galaxy. And I was like, nah, it's fine. Let's just stay in Universal. Turned out, found out the next day that Dave Bautista, the guy that plays Drax, yeah, he was there at the Guardians of the Galaxy ride. So let's just say my kids never spoke to me after that. Right, so number 3 is, and if you've watched my channel, you probably know this one already. But living up in Edinburgh, there's a fair distance between me and most of the parks. I can easily get to Blackpool, can kind of get to Towers, but all the parks down around about London, they're just kind of out of my reach. So it's not uncommon for me to basically decide once a year to just drive all the way down there, do all the parks within a week, and then head back up the road. And of course I did that at the start of this year. And I was super excited to get on Hyperia, you know, new tallest coaster in the UK, super hyped for it, no pun intended. And the day before, I can't remember what park I was in, but I saw on the news that that this happened.
This is, oh my god.
So of course I'm sitting there going, great, the train has valid. Let's hope that overnight they get in, they get a crane, they recover that train, they get it back, and ta-da! Nope. I turned up to that park the next day and that train was still valid at the bottom and opened 2 days later. So yeah, I travelled 400 miles hoping to get on Hyperia. Didn't happen. Okay, so number 2, heading back to the US again, and actually, again, that same trip. I had my first visit to Busch Gardens in Tampa. And if you've ever been out there, you'll probably know that, I mean, if you've got a car, great, you drive there, we did this year. But if you don't have a car, you can get a free bus to the park and a free bus back from the park. Now the challenge with that is that it doesn't get you there for opening time and it leaves a little bit before the park closes. Should be fine though, right? So far we're all good. Rock up to the park. My main reason for being there is Iron Gwazi, right? It had just opened. It looked spectacular. I'd never done an RMC, and I'm like, I want to get on that ride. However, rookie mistake, I, with the kids, was like, right, we'll go and try this ride, we'll go and try this ride, you know, working up towards Iron Gwazi being the kind of the pinnacle of that trip, and then heads round to Gwazi, and I was like, yes, there's no queue, this is great. Gets into the queue, and well, I mean, if you know much about Florida, especially in the summer months, it's prone to storms on almost a daily basis. So they shut the ride, and I mean, at that point, couldn't see anything. I'm like, there may be a storm on the radar, but it's not close enough to shut the ride. I stood in that queue for 2 hours, hoping and praying that they would reopen. The storm never came. I saw some dark clouds, but they did not open that ride. And because I had to get the bus, I had to leave, and I never got on Gwazi. I have since been on it, but yeah, that was a massive fail. So moral of the story there is, if there's a particular ride in a park that you want to do, just do it first. Right, okay, so number one. Again, if you've watched a few of my videos, you may have heard this story. But if you're new to the channel, you won't have heard this story. So I was down in Blackpool a couple of years ago, a park I visit all the time. And I was on Icon, their newest coaster. Love that ride. Been on it probably close to 100 times now. Anyway, I'm on it with the kids, you know, sitting there, all good. Launch, happy days, up over that initial top hat, brilliant. And then it's kind of swinging around doing all the stuff before it hits steeplechase. And out the corner of my eye, I just see something disappearing. And I turn and I look. And then I realise that it's my house key and my car key, because I didn't zip my pockets up. And I just watched them go flying off. So I get back into the station and I said to member staff, look, I've just lost my keys on the ride. And they went, all right, well, wait till the end of the day and we'll walk the track and see if we can find them. They didn't find them, and I had to grovel to my ex-wife to hop on a train from Edinburgh all the way down to Blackpool with a spare car key. So yeah. Oops. Right, there you go. There is my 5 fails from theme parks. I'm sure if I thought hard enough, I could come up with many more. I guess the question is, does that mean I am a theme park enthusiast, or am I just a muppet? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this one, hit that like button. So close to hitting 4K and on target for 10K, so please hit that subscribe button as well. I've been Chris, you've been watching Coaster Dad, and I'll see you in the next one. Adios.